The news spread across the galaxy like fire. The Kreth Dominion had sent 30 warships into human space. They had been hunting refugees, the last survivors of a genocide that had killed 40 billion Valorians. They had crossed the human border without permission, without fear, without hesitation. None of them came back. Within days, every species in the galaxy was talking about what had happened. The battle recordings were leaked somehow, probably by the humans themselves. Everyone saw the footage. 30 Kreth warships surrounded by 300 human vessels. 11 minutes of combat. Total destruction. And then the trials began. War Master Groken and 200 surviving Kreth were brought before a galactic tribunal. The humans had provided evidence. Recordings from Valorian ships showing the attack on their homeworld. Communications showing the Kreth High Command ordering the complete extermination of an entire species. Testimony from refugees who had watched their families die. The trial lasted 3 weeks. At the end, Groken and his surviving officers were found guilty of genocide. They were sentenced to life imprisonment on a prison world at the edge of known space. They would never see freedom again. But the real judgment came not from the tribunal, it came from the Kreth Dominion itself. When the leaders of the Dominion learned what had happened, they were furious. They demanded revenge. They called for war against humanity. They began gathering their fleets, preparing for an invasion that would wipe the humans from existence. And then they stopped, because they did the math. The Kreth Dominion had perhaps 2,000 warships. Impressive by any standard. But the humans had surprised everyone. Intelligence reports came back showing human fleet strength at over 15,000 combat vessels. 15,000 ships crewed by soldiers who trained constantly, who worked together perfectly, who were absolutely committed to defending their space and their allies. A war against humanity would not be a conquest. It would be suicide. So the Dominion backed down. They sent diplomats instead of warships. They signed treaties promising to respect human borders. They paid reparations to the surviving Valorians. And they quietly erased the names of Groken and his fleet from their history, pretending the whole thing had never happened. Meanwhile, in human space, the Valorians found their new home, a world called New Velar. It was a green planet with blue oceans and gentle weather. The humans gave it to the refugees freely, asking nothing in return. 12,000 Valorians landed on the surface and looked up at an alien sky and wept. They had been so sure they would die. They had crossed into human space expecting destruction. Instead, they found salvation. Thurin, the refugee leader who had first spoken to Commander Yuna, stood before a crowd of his people on the day they officially claimed their new world. Behind him, a group of human officials watched quietly. Among them was Admiral Taiwu, who had come to see this moment for himself. "My people," Thurin said, his voice thick with emotion, "we have lost everything. Our world, our history, billions of our brothers and sisters. We have been hunted across the stars like animals. We have been turned away by every species we asked for help. We had given up hope." He paused, looking at the crowd. Families, children, old ones who remembered the burning of Velar Prime. All of them survivors. All of them alive because of human protection. And then we found the humans. Thurin turned to look at Admiral Taiwu. "We came to them expecting death. We thought dying fast at their hands was better than dying slow at Kreth claws. But they did not kill us. They protected us. They fought for us. They gave us a new home when we had nothing left to offer them." He faced the crowd again. "The galaxy tells many stories about humans. They say humans are dangerous, violent, terrifying. And yes, all of that is true. But the stories miss the most important thing." His voice grew stronger. "Humans protect the helpless. Humans stand between the innocent and the monsters. Humans believe that some things are worth fighting for, even when there is no reward, no profit, no advantage. Thurin raised his arms. We are alive because of that belief. Our children will grow up because of that belief. Our species will survive because of that belief. And we will never forget it. From this day forward, the Valorians are allies of humanity. Not because they asked us to be. Not because they demanded payment. But because they earned our loyalty with their kindness, their courage, and their protection. The crowd cheered. Valorian children waved at the human officials. Old ones bowed their heads in respect. And in the middle of it all, Admiral Taiwu smiled quietly. Later that day, Thurin approached the Admiral. "Thank you," the Valorian said simply. "Thank you for everything." Taiwu shook his head. "Don't thank me. Thank Commander Yuna. She was the one who decided to protect your ships. She made the choice before any orders came from above. I will thank her too. But you are the one who led the fleet that saved us. You are the one who ordered your people to risk their lives for strangers." Thurin looked at the human with wonder. "Why? Why did you do it? We are not human. We have no alliance with your people. Why did you care?" Taiwu thought about the question for a long moment. He thought about his career, about all the battles he had fought, about the choices he had made, good and bad, about what it meant to be human in a galaxy full of species who looked at power as the only thing that mattered. "Because someone had to," he said finally. "The galaxy is full of species who would have let you die, who would have looked the other way while the Kreth finished their genocide, who would have decided that it wasn't their problem." He met Theron's eyes. "Humans are not that species. We can't be. The moment we start looking away from injustice, we stop being who we are." Thurin nodded slowly. "The Kreth called you weak for protecting strangers. They said you were foolish to risk war for aliens you did not know. And look where the Kreth are now." Taiwu smiled grimly. Humiliated before the entire galaxy. Their war master in chains. Their fleet destroyed. Their dream of conquest shattered. He shrugged. "Maybe protecting the helpless is weak. Maybe it's foolish. But it seems to be working for us." He turned to look at the new Valorian settlement. Buildings were already rising. Fields were being planted. Life was beginning again on a world that had been dead rock just months before. "Take care of your people, Thurin. Build something beautiful here. And if anyone ever threatens you again," he glanced back at the Valorian leader, "let us know. We'll be there." He walked away, leaving Thurin standing alone under an alien sky dot in the years that followed. The story of what happened spread to every corner of the galaxy. It became a legend, a warning, a promise. The Kreth Dominion never recovered its reputation. Other empires stopped fearing them. Their conquered worlds began to rebel. Within a century, they would collapse entirely, broken not by human weapons, but by human example. The Valorians thrived on New Velar. Their population grew. Their culture rebuilt itself. They became one of humanity's closest allies. And their ships flew alongside human vessels in every conflict that followed, and across the galaxy. Other species learned a new truth about the universe. There was a place where the hunted could find shelter. There was a species that protected strangers. There was a line in the stars that no tyrant could cross without consequence. Human space. No one entered human space uninvited. That rule had existed for centuries. But now there was a second rule, one that was even more important. If you came to human space seeking help, seeking refuge, seeking protection from those who wished you harm, you would find it. The humans would welcome you. The humans would protect you. And if anyone tried to hurt you, the humans would destroy them. That was the new rule. And the galaxy would never forget it. In the end, Humanity's greatest weapon was not their ships or their soldiers or their technology. It was their willingness to stand up for those who could not stand up for themselves. And that was something no empire could ever defeat. The battle lasted 11 minutes. 11 minutes to destroy 30 Kreth warships. 11 minutes to kill thousands of warriors who had never known defeat. 11 minutes to prove that the stories about humanity were not stories at all. Captain Junho watched from the bridge of the Black Tiger as the last Kreth vessels burned. His ship had taken the lead in the assault, diving straight into the heart of the enemy formation while other human vessels cut off escape routes. It had been dangerous. It had been violent. It had been necessary. "Status report," he said calmly. His first officer, a woman named Soman, checked their screens. 28 Kreth ships destroyed. 1 disabled and drifting. 1. She paused. 1 is the flagship, the Fist of Conquest. It's badly damaged but still operational. Engines are down. Weapons are down. Life support is failing. Survivors? Sensors show approximately 200 Kreth still alive on the flagship. The disabled ship has maybe 50 more. Someone looked at him. "What are your orders, Captain?" Junho stood up and walked to the window. Outside, the battlefield was a graveyard. Broken ships drifted among clouds of debris. Some were still burning, their fires feeding on leaking oxygen. Bodies floated in the void. Kreth warriors who had died never understanding what killed them. "Admiral Taiwu wants prisoners," he said. "We need them to testify about the genocide, to tell the galaxy what the Kreth Dominion did to the Valorians." He turned back to his crew. "Prepare a boarding party. I'll lead it myself." Summon's eyes widened. "Captain, you can't be serious. Those are Kreth. Even wounded, they'll fight to the death. It's too dangerous for a commanding officer to—" "I'm not asking permission, Lieutenant." Junho's voice was quiet but firm. "Those creatures came here to murder refugees, children, families who had already lost everything. I want to look them in the eye. I want them to see a human face when they understand that they've lost." He walked toward the door. "Have the Marines meet me at the shuttle bay. Full combat gear. We're going in hard." 20 minutes later, the boarding shuttle attached to the side of the Fist of Conquest. The cutting tool burned through the hull in seconds. Then the door blew inward, and Captain Junho stepped into Hell. The inside of the Kreth flagship was dark and filled with smoke. Red emergency lights flickered on and off. The air smelled like burning metal and blood. Bodies lay everywhere. Kreth who had died when their compartments lost pressure, or when fires had swept through the corridors. "Stay close," Junho ordered his Marines. "Shoot anyone who raises a weapon, but take as many alive as possible." They moved through the ship like ghosts. Human combat training was the best in the galaxy. Every Marine knew exactly where to step, exactly where to look, exactly when to shoot. The few Kreth who tried to fight back died before they could swing their weapons. It took 30 minutes to reach the bridge. The doors had been sealed. Junho placed a breaching charge and stepped back. "Flash grenades first," he said. "Then we go in. I want the War Master alive." The charge exploded. The doors blew inward. Flash grenades flew through the opening, filling the bridge with blinding light and deafening sound. Then the Marines poured in, moving fast and low, their weapons finding targets before the Kreth could even see what was happening. It was over in seconds. When the smoke cleared, Captain Junho stood in the center of the Kreth bridge. Around him, a dozen Kreth officers lay on the floor, some dead, some wounded, some simply stunned. And at the far end of the room, still standing despite a wound in his shoulder, was War Master Groken. The two enemies faced each other. Groken was huge, even compared to other Kreth. His forearms hung at his sides. His yellow eyes burned with hate and something else. Something that looked almost like respect. "So," the War Master said slowly, "you are human." Junho nodded. "I am. You fight well. Better than any species we have faced." Groken's voice was rough, tired. "My fleet was the pride of the Dominion. We had never lost a single ship in battle. And you destroyed us in minutes." 11 minutes, Junho said. I counted. Groken made a sound that might have been a laugh. 11 minutes. The death of an empire in 11 minutes. He shook his head. How? How are you so strong? You are small. You are soft. You should be weak. Junho considered the question. He thought about all the things he could say. About human evolution. About their history of constant warfare. About the way they had clawed their way up from nothing to become the most dangerous species in the galaxy. But in the end, he said something simpler. We're strong because we have something to protect. Groken frowned. The Valorians? Why do you care about them? They are strangers, aliens. They have nothing to offer you. That's not how we think. Junho stepped closer to the War Master. You asked how we're so strong. I'll tell you. When someone threatens us, we don't just defend ourselves. We defend everyone who depends on us. Every ally. Every friend. Every refugee who comes to us for help. He met Groken's eyes without flinching. The Valorians asked for our protection. That makes them ours. And we protect what's ours. Even if it means war with the Dominion? Especially then. Junho's voice hardened. You think we're afraid of your empire? You burned an entire world. Killed 40 billion people. Hunted the survivors across the galaxy. And then you followed them into our space, thinking we would stand aside and watch you finish the job. He shook his head. You didn't just attack the Valorians, War Master. You attacked everything we believe in. Everything we stand for. Groken was silent for a long moment. Then he lowered himself slowly to his knees. It was not a gesture of surrender. It was something else. Something like acceptance. I understand now, he said quietly. I understand why the galaxy fears you. It is not because of your weapons or your ships or your technology. It is because you truly believe. You believe in protecting the weak. You believe in punishing the cruel. You believe that there are some things worth dying for. He looked up at Junho. We Kreth believe only in strength, in conquest, in victory. That is why we will lose. Not today, not tomorrow, but eventually. We will always lose to species like you. Junho nodded slowly. Maybe, but you're not going to be around to see it. He gestured to his Marines. Take him. Take all the survivors. The Admiral wants them alive to face justice. As the Marines moved forward to secure the prisoners, Groken spoke one last time. Tell me something, human. The stories say that those who enter your space uninvited never return. Is that true? Junho paused at the door. He looked back at the kneeling War Master, at the ruins of his bridge, at the bodies of his officers scattered across the floor. Some of you will return, he said. We'll send you back to the Dominion in chains. You'll stand trial for genocide. The whole galaxy will see what you did and what we did to stop you. He let that sink in. But your fleet? Your warriors? Your dream of erasing the Valorians from existence. He turned away. Those things will never leave human space. They die here. With us. Forever. The door closed behind him. And in the darkness of his ruined ship, surrounded by the bodies of his followers, War Master Groken finally understood the truth that the galaxy had known for centuries. Humans were not just warriors. They were judges, and their judgment was absolute. The Kreth fleet moved through human space like a sword cutting through water. War Master Grokan stood at the center of his bridge, watching the stars pass by on the main screen. His officers worked silently around him. The hunt was almost over. How far to the Valorian ships? He asked. 6 hours at current speed, Resh replied. They have stopped at a small moon. Our scouts report they are being guarded by a single human patrol vessel. Grokan laughed. One ship? The humans send one ship to protect 12,000 refugees? He shook his head. Either they are cowards who do not wish to fight, or they have abandoned these creatures to their fate. Perhaps both, Resh said. The humans may be dangerous, but they are also practical. Why would they risk war with the Dominion for aliens they do not know? Exactly. Grokan felt his confidence growing. The stories about humans were exaggerated. They are just like everyone else. They look out for themselves and no one else. When we arrive, they will step aside. They will watch us take the Valorians. And they will do nothing. The hours passed. The Kreth fleet drew closer and closer to their prey. Grokan could almost taste victory. Soon, the last Valorians would be dead. The mission would be complete. He would return to the Dominion as a hero. Then the sensors screamed. War Master! The officer at the sensor station sounded panicked. Contacts! Multiple contacts emerging from the asteroid field ahead. Grokan spun around. How many? The officer's face went pale. 50. 100. 200. His voice cracked. 300 ships, War Master. 300 human warships. The bridge fell silent. Every Kreth on the command deck stopped breathing. On the main screen, they could see it now. Ships were appearing from behind asteroids, rising from craters on dead moons, emerging from the darkness like ghosts, becoming solid. Human ships. 300 of them. Each one was smaller than a Kreth warship. But they moved with a speed and precision that made Grokan's stomach twist. They flowed through space like water, like a living thing made of metal and fire. And they were surrounding his fleet. Impossible, Resh whispered. Where did they come from? How did they hide so many ships? It does not matter, Grokan growled, though he felt fear for the first time in many years. We are Kreth. We do not run. We do not surrender. We fight. He raised his voice. All ships, battle formation. Prepare to engage. His fleet began to move, arranging themselves into the classic Kreth attack pattern. 30 warships, each one a fortress of weapons and armor. They had destroyed entire civilizations. They had never lost a major battle. Surely, they could fight their way out of this trap. Then the human voice came through the communication channel. Kreth vessels? This is Lieutenant Hana of the Terran Third Fleet. You are trespassing in human space. You have violated our borders. You have entered our territory with hostile intent. The voice was calm and cold. You have 10 seconds to surrender. Power down your weapons and engines. Prepare to be boarded. Grokan grabbed the communicator. Human, I am War Master Grokan of the Kreth Dominion. We do not surrender to anyone. If you want to fight, you will have one. But know this, the Dominion will not forgive this insult. Attack us, and you will face the full might of our empire. There was a pause. Then Lieutenant Hana spoke again. War Master Grokan, you came into our space without permission. You are hunting refugees who asked for our protection. You have committed genocide against the Valorian people. Her voice grew harder. And now you threaten us? Yes, Grokan roared. I threaten you. The Kreth have conquered 100 worlds. We have crushed every enemy who stood against us. You think 300 small ships frighten me? We will destroy you, and then we will destroy your worlds. We will teach humanity the same lesson we taught the Valorians. Another pause. Longer this time. War Master, Hana said finally. Do you know why no one enters human space uninvited? Groken sneered. Because of stories, legends, propaganda. No. Hana's voice was quiet now, almost gentle. Because of history. Real history. Let me tell you what happened to the last empire that threatened us. She continued, her words slow and clear. 300 years ago, a species called the Nexer invaded human space. They had 1,000 ships. They thought they could conquer us quickly. They were wrong. The war lasted 2 years. When it ended, there were no more Nexer. Not defeated. Not conquered. Gone. Their worlds were empty. Their species was extinct. We erased them from existence. Groken felt the cold in his chest grow stronger. After the Nexer, the Thornian Empire tried to enslave human colonies. We burned their capital world. The Vex Collective thought they could raid our trade routes. We hunted down every single one of their ships and destroyed them. The Moravian Council tried to manipulate our government. We exposed them and watched their alliance tear itself apart. Hana's voice became even quieter. Every species that has attacked humanity has regretted it. Most of them no longer exist to tell the story. The ones who survived did so because they surrendered in time. She paused. You still have that choice, War Master. Surrender now. Let the Valorians live. Accept judgment for your crimes, or what? Groken demanded. Or discover why the galaxy fears us. Groken looked around at his officers. He saw fear in their eyes. Real fear. The kind he had seen in the eyes of his victims. But he was War Master. He could not show weakness. He could not back down. We do not surrender, he said slowly. We are Kreth. We would rather die than kneel to lesser species. There was a long silence. Then Hana spoke one final time. As you wish. All ships, engage. Show them no mercy. They came here to kill innocents. Make sure they never kill anyone again. The space around the Kreth fleet exploded. Human ships moved with terrifying speed. They did not fight like other species. They did not form lines and exchange fire. They swarmed. They darted in and out like insects, firing from every angle. Their weapons were not the most powerful in the galaxy, but they were precise. Every shot hit something vital: engines, weapons, shield, generators, and they worked together, perfectly, seamlessly, as if 300 ships shared one mind. Groken watched in horror as his fleet began to fall apart. The crushing blow, his second largest ship, took 12 hits and went dark. The Pride of Conquest tried to flee and was cut off by 50 human vessels that appeared from nowhere. The Iron Fist fought bravely for almost a minute before its reactor exploded. Return fire! Groken screamed. Focus on their lead ships. Kill them. His gunners tried. They really tried. But the human ships were too fast. Every time a Kreth weapon locked on, the target moved. Every time a missile launched, it was shot down before it could hit. And meanwhile, more and more Kreth ships died. 10 ships gone in the first 2 minutes. 20 ships gone in 5 minutes. Groken realized, with growing terror, that he was not fighting a battle. He was fighting an execution. War Master! Vresh shouted. We have to retreat. We cannot win this. There is no retreat. Groken grabbed her arm. The humans are everywhere. They have surrounded us. It was true. The human fleet had closed like a fist. There was no escape. No way out. Only death. Groken looked at the main screen. He could see human ships everywhere. Small, fast, deadly. They moved through his dying fleet like wolves through a herd of frightened animals. And on the bridge of one of those ships, a human named Hana was watching, waiting. Patient. This was it. This was the answer to the question everyone in the galaxy had asked. Why did no one enter human space uninvited? Because humans did not just defend their borders. They annihilated anyone who crossed them, and as his ship shook from another hit, as his crew screamed around him, as everything he had known crumbled to dust, War Master Groken finally understood the truth. He was never going home. None of them were. War Master Groken stood on the command deck of the Fist of Conquest, the largest ship in the Kreth hunting fleet. He was tall, even for a Kreth. His gray skin was covered in scars from 100 battles. His forearms were thick with muscle. His yellow eyes burned with hunger. The hunt had been going well. The Valorians had run like the weak creatures they were. Across half the galaxy they had fled, and everywhere they went, they were turned away. No one wanted to anger the Kreth Dominion. No one wanted to risk war with the most powerful military force in known space. Groken had enjoyed watching them beg. He had enjoyed watching station after station, planet after planet, close their doors to the refugees. He had enjoyed knowing that soon, very soon, he would catch them and finish what the Dominion had started, the complete destruction of the Valorian species. War Master, said his second in command, a scarred female named Vresh. The prey has stopped running. Groken turned to her. Stopped? Why? They have crossed the border. They are now inside. Vresh paused. Her voice became uncertain. They are inside human space. The bridge went quiet. Every Kreth officer stopped what they were doing. Even Groken felt something cold move through his chest. But he crushed it immediately. Fear was weakness. The Kreth did not allow weakness. Human space, he repeated slowly. The Valorians are even more foolish than I thought. They have chosen to die at human hands rather than face us. Should we stop the pursuit? Vresh asked carefully. Groken's 4 fists clenched. Stop? You want me to stop? After weeks of hunting? After coming so close to completing our mission? He stepped toward her, towering over her smaller form. The Dominion gave us one order. Kill every Valorian. Every single one. We do not stop until they are all dead. We do not stop for borders. We do not stop for treaties. We do not stop for humans. But War Master, the stories about human space. Stories. Groken roared. Lies and stories told by cowards. Yes, humans are dangerous. Yes, they have won battles. But they are still just one species. They bleed. They die. They can be broken like anyone else. He turned to the navigation officer. Set course to follow the Valorians. All ships. Full speed. The officer hesitated. War Master, we will be crossing into human territory. This could be seen as an act of war. Good, Groken said with a smile full of sharp teeth. Let the humans come. Let them see the might of the Kreth Dominion. If they are wise, they will step aside and let us take what belongs to us. If they are foolish, he laughed. Then we will teach them the same lesson we taught the Valorians. The Kreth fleet, 30 warships strong, crossed the border into human space. Far away. In the heart of human territory, Admiral Taiwu received the alert. He was an old man now, 67 years old. He had fought in 3 major wars and dozens of smaller conflicts. He had buried friends and enemies alike. He had seen the best and worst of what the galaxy had to offer. Very little surprised him anymore. But when he read the report from Commander Yuna, he felt his heart beat faster. Refugees. 12,000 of them. Last survivors in a dead world. And behind them, a Kreth hunting fleet that had just violated human space to finish their genocide. Taiwu sat in his office on board the Hammer of Earth, the flagship of the Terran Third Fleet. Through his window, he could see the asteroid belt that served as the fleet's home base. Hidden among those rocks were 300 warships. 300 vessels crewed by men and women who had trained their entire lives for moments like this. He pressed a button on his desk. "Get me Captain Junho." A moment later, a face appeared on his screen. Junho was young for a captain, only 35, but he had proven himself in battle many times. He was calm, smart, and absolutely ruthless when he needed to be. "Admiral," Junho said, "I just read the report. The Kreth actually entered our space." "They did. 30 warships. They're chasing refugees." Taiwu leaned back in his chair. "What do you think, Captain? Why would they do something so stupid?" Junho considered the question. "Arrogance. The Kreth have never lost a war. They've conquered dozens of species. They probably think we're just another enemy to crush." He paused. "They're wrong." "Yes," Taiwu agreed. "They are very wrong." He stood up and walked to his window. "I've been a soldier for over 40 years, Junho. I've killed enemies who deserved it and some who probably didn't. I've followed orders I didn't agree with. I've done things that keep me awake at night." He turned back to face the screen. "But protecting the helpless from monsters? That's not a burden. That's an honor. What are your orders, Admiral?" Taiwu smiled. It was not a warm smile. It was the smile of a wolf who had just spotted his prey. "Wake up the fleet. All 300 ships. Tell them to prepare for combat operations." Junho's eyes widened slightly. "All 300? Against 30 Kreth ships?" "Yes, I want overwhelming force. I want the Kreth to understand exactly what they've walked into." Taiwu sat back down. "Also, activate the defense grid. Every automated weapon platform in this sector. Every minefield. Every sensor station. I want the Kreth to be watched from the moment they cross that border." "It will be done, Admiral." "Anything else?" Taiwu thought for a moment. "Yes, contact Commander Yuna. Tell her to keep the refugees safe and stay out of the combat zone. She's done her part. Now, it's our turn. And the message to the Kreth? No message. Not yet. Let them come deeper into our space. Let them think they're the hunters." Taiwu's smile grew wider. "Then we'll show them what it feels like to be prey." The connection ended. Taiwu stood alone in his office, looking out at the asteroid field. Somewhere in those rocks, his ships were coming to life. Engines warming up. Weapons being loaded. Crews preparing for battle. He thought about the Valorians. 12,000 people. Families. Children. Old ones who remembered better times. They had lost everything. Their world. Their people. Their hope. They had come to human space expecting to die, because dying fast seemed better than dying slow. They had no idea what humans really were. The galaxy thought humans were dangerous. The galaxy thought humans were violent and aggressive and terrifying. And yes, all of that was true. But the galaxy had missed the most important thing about humanity. Humans protected their own. And the moment those Valorians had crossed into human space, the moment they had asked for help, the moment they had trusted humans with their children's lives, they had become human in every way that mattered. The Kreth were about to learn this lesson. They were about to learn it the hard way. Taiwu pressed another button. His voice echoed through every ship in the fleet. "All hands, this is Admiral Taiwu. We have hostile forces in our space. They are hunting refugees who have asked for our protection. They think they can enter our home and kill innocent people under our watch." He paused, letting the words sink in. "They are wrong. We are going to find them. We are going to stop them. And we are going to teach them why no one enters human space uninvited unless they never mean to return." Across the asteroid belt, 300 ships roared to life. The hunt was about to begin. But this time, The Kreth were not the hunters. They were the prey. The stars were cold and empty in this part of space. No one came here. No trade ships. No explorers. No military vessels from any of the great empires. This was human territory, and the entire galaxy knew one simple truth. You do not enter human space without permission. Commander Una sat in her chair on the bridge of the Silent Dawn. She was a small woman with sharp eyes and short black hair. She had served in the Terran border fleet for 15 years. In all that time, she had never seen an unauthorized ship cross into their space. Not once. The reputation of humanity kept everyone away. She was drinking her morning tea when the alarm started screaming. "Contact detected," said Lieutenant Minji from the sensor station. Her voice was calm but tight. "Multiple ships. They just crossed the borderline." Una put down her cup slowly. "How many?" 12 ships. No, wait. Minji's fingers moved fast across her screen. "More are coming through. 20. 30. Commander, there are over 50 ships entering our space." The bridge went silent. 50 ships was not a patrol. 50 ships was not a lost convoy. 50 ships was either an invasion or something very desperate. "What kind of ships?" Una asked. "Civilian vessels. Transport class. They look old." "Very old." Minji turned to look at her commander. "Ma'am, I'm reading thousands of life signs. These ships are packed with people." Una stood up and walked to the main window. Outside, she could see nothing but stars. But somewhere out there, 50 ships full of unknown aliens were flying into the most dangerous space in the galaxy. "Open a channel," she said. The communication officer, a young man named Dowan, worked his controls. "Channel open, Commander." Una took a breath. "Unidentified vessels. This is Commander Una of the Terran border fleet ship Silent Dawn. You have entered human space without authorization. Stop your engines and identify yourselves immediately." For a long moment, there was only static. Then a voice came through. It was weak and filled with fear. "Please, please do not kill us. We know we should not be here. We know the stories. But we had nowhere else to go. They are behind us. They are killing everyone. Please. We are just trying to save our children." The voice broke into crying. Una felt something twist in her chest. "Who is speaking?" she asked, keeping her voice steady. "What is your name? What species are you?" "I am called Thurn. I am Valorian. We were from the planet Veloprime, but Veloprime is gone now. The Kreth burned it. They burned everything. 40 billion of our people, dead in one day. We are all that is left. These ships. This is all that remains of our civilization." Una closed her eyes. She had heard of the Kreth Dominion. They were a warrior empire from the far side of the galaxy. They conquered worlds and enslaved populations. They were brutal and they were powerful. And apparently, they had just committed genocide. "The Kreth are following you?" she asked. "Yes, they do not want any of us to survive. They want to erase us completely from existence. We ran for weeks. We had nowhere to go. Every empire turned us away. The council refused to help. No one would let us in." Theron's voice became even smaller. "Then someone said, 'Go to human space. The Kreth will not follow you there. Humans are the only ones the Kreth fear.' And if the humans kill you instead?" Una asked quietly. "Then at least it will be quick." The Kreth do not make it quick. They take their time. They enjoy it." There was a long pause. "We would rather die fast at human hands than slow at Kreth claws. Please, Commander, if you must destroy us, please make it fast. We have suffered enough." Una opened her eyes and looked around at her crew. Every person on the bridge was staring at her. She could see the same thing in all their faces: horror, anger, and something else. Something that burned. Humans were many things. They could be violent. They could be ruthless. They could be terrifying in war. But there was one thing humans could not stand, could never accept, could never look away from: innocent people being slaughtered while they did nothing. "Darn," Una said slowly. "How many people are on your ships?" 12,000. Mostly families, children, old ones. We have very few fighters left. Most of our warriors died holding the line so we could escape. Theron's voice cracked again. They were so brave. They knew they would die. They did it anyway. 12,000 people. The last survivors of an entire species. Running from monsters who wanted to wipe them from the universe. And they had come to human space because they believed that dying at human hands was better than living under Kreth torture. Una made her decision in that moment. It was not a hard decision. It was the easiest decision she had ever made. "Theron, listen to me carefully," she said. "You are not going to die today. Not by our hands. Not by the Kreth. Not by anyone. Commander." Theron's voice was confused, disbelieving. "You came to human space looking for death, but you found something else." Una turned to her crew and raised her voice so everyone could hear. "All hands, this is the commander. We are changing mission status. These vessels are now under Terran protection. I repeat, these refugees are under our protection. Anyone who tries to harm them will answer to us." She looked back at the communication screen. "Theron, I am going to escort your ships to a safe location inside our territory. You will be given food, medicine, and shelter. Your people will be protected." There was silence on the other end. Then Una heard something she did not expect. Crying. But not crying from fear. Crying from relief. Crying from hope? "Why?" Theron whispered. "Why would you help us? You do not know us. We have nothing to offer you. We are broken and weak and useless." Una smiled, though Theron could not see it. "You asked why. I will tell you why. Because you came to us when no one else would help. Because you trusted us with your children's lives. Because someone has to stand between the innocent and the monsters. And if no one else will do it, then humans will." She sat back in her chair. "Now follow my ship and stay close. The Kreth are behind you, you said. Good. Let them come. Let them follow you into our space. Let them see what happens to those who hunt the helpless in human territory." Minji looked at her commander with wide eyes. "Ma'am, if the Kreth follow them here, then the Kreth will learn the same lesson everyone else learned," Una said calmly. "No one enters human space uninvited. And those who do, hunting refugees, killing children, burning worlds." She let out a slow breath. "Those ones never leave." The Silent Dawn turned and moved toward the refugee fleet. 50 broken ships full of scared and tired people watched the human vessel approach. For the first time in weeks, they felt something other than terror. They felt hope and far behind them. Still hidden in the darkness between stars, the Kreth hunters followed. They did not know fear. They had never lost a battle. They had never met an enemy they could not crush. They had never met humans, but they were about to.